All right, let's get started. Hello, everyone. I hope you all had a great week. Before we get started, I was wondering, did anyone have any questions regarding the homework that was assigned last week? Any issues at all, or something that they would quickly like to ask before we get started with what I have prepared for us today? No? All right then. Hello, welcome. Okay, so let's get started with our usual, the recommended author and book of the day. So this is called The Eye of Leriloth by Grace Edgard and Diane Mills. Very cool book. It's on magic realism, where we take a little bit of fantasy but mix it up with some reality as well. So let's get to know what this book is all about with this little dialogue that we have here. So Ethan, can you please read this slide for us?
My birthmark speaks to me, Arrow. I long for adventure, to see what is beyond my valley and experience all of Breckenwood. But I have a secret. There is a power etched in my birthmark, a golden sword, and an unknown voice that to the to calls me to the forbidden, and it won't leave me alone. Mama and Papa say others seek harm to me. When I discover a fierce dragon, I learn the truth about my identity. The dragon urges me to accept the quest. If I refuse, my family and my people will continue to live in poverty. But I'm afraid I will survive the evil. Will I survive the evil pressing in around me?
Awesome. So yeah, this is about this is the book. Again, very cool where we have this idea of power, dragons, all in these like very fantasy driven themes that we're also applying a little bit of realistic situations here. Or I wouldn't say realistic situations, but more based in realistic environments. All right, so let's get to know the author, Diane Mills. So, let's see. Li Huang, can you please read the first two paragraphs for us?
Diane Mills is a best-selling author who believes her readers should expect an adventure. She combines unforgettable characters with unpredictable plots to create action-packed, suspense-filled novels. Diane believes every breath of life is someone's story, so why not capture those moments and create a thrilling adventure? Her titles have appeared on the CBA and ECPA bestseller lists, won two Christie Awards, and been finalist for the RITA Dan Daphne du Maurier Inspirational Reader's Choice and Carl Award contests.
Amazing. So thank you again. Xiaoya, can you please read the third paragraph?
Deanne is a founding board member of the American Christian Fiction Writers, a former director of Blue Ridge Christian Writers, and a member of Advanced Writers and Speakers Association, Mystery Writers of America, Sisters in Crime, and International Thriller Writers. She shares her passion for helping other writers be successful by teaching writing workshops around the country.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And then last paragraph, let's see. James, can you please read the last paragraph for us?
Diane has been termed a coffee snob and roasts her own coffee beans. She's an avid reader, loves to cook, and believes her grandchildren are the smartest kids in the universe. She and her husband live in sunny Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas. Awesome. So yeah, this is Diane, and we just covered her book. Does anyone have any questions on today's recommended author and book of the day? No? All right, then let's move on to our quote of the day by Laura Ingalls Wilder. So let's see. David, can you please read today's quote?
Home is the nicest world there is.
Thank you. So, thoughts. Let's see. Zalia, can you please tell me what initial thoughts did you get from this? How did you understand this quote?
I just thought a family is really important, and yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And So we could say that home is where we feel the most comfortable. So Xiaoya thought of family, right? Being around family. So that is what we can kind of say because when we think of home, we think of, the nicest word there is. And why is it the nicest word? Because home is what makes us feel comfortable, where we feel safe, where we feel pretty much our happiest. Now, it doesn't have to be your physical house, but it could be a place where you feel the most joy and all these positive emotions. So, what I want you guys to do is write a detailed paragraph describing your quote unquote home. It doesn't actually have to be your physical house, but it needs to be the environment that you feel the most positive feelings. So, while thinking of that, write your paragraphs using descriptive words. And what I mean by descriptive words is I want you to use very um extra words. I don't want to hear, oh, this place is great and I feel nice or I feel and or any of that. No. I want you to, if you want to use the word nice, go on Google and type in nice synonyms, right? And this is how you would spell synonyms. Type in any word and then synonyms next to it. And then Google will give you an entire list of synonyms for you to choose from. And then just choose whatever speaks to you. Now, if you don't want to Google it, ask me. I can also give you alternatives on how to say certain words. So keep that in mind when you're thinking of what kind of descriptive words you want to use. Now, because this is a paragraph describing your home, use the five sentence. That means that you want to talk about the visual, how the area smells, maybe. Maybe home is like in a restaurant. So maybe the taste. Also what you hear. Do you hear laughter around? Do you hear maybe your mom and dad talking? So um hearing is also very important. So think of all these things when you're um approaching your paragraphs. Does anyone have any questions regarding this task? No? All right, then you may get started. 10 minutes, all right? Also remember, when you're writing your paragraphs, it should be minimum around 3 to 5 sentences. Minimum three. It should not be any shorter than that. 2 more minutes. So you still have 2 more minutes. I'm just going to stop sharing and get the document ready. So 1 more minute. What I recommend for everyone to do is finalize your sentence and submit what you have. It's okay if you're not completely finished, but we will have to move on to our editing portion once the time is up. All right, so time is up. So let's take a look. David, let's edit yours. So you said when I walked home from soccer, let's say practice, or is it from soccer practice or game, David?
Game.
Okay. From a soccer game, we're going to put a comma here. I felt blessed. I could feel the breeze of the air. Conditioning, so we need to spell this correctly. Take this out. I smelled the cookies I made. And best of all, I could hear my favorite song playing. We need to spell this correctly on the radio. Truly, my home is the best place in the world. Awesome. So what we could say here is add a sentence describing why you feel blessed, like because you're going home, I'm assuming, right? And where are you headed to? Now, of course, you mention your home at the end of the sentence, but typically it's best to automatically, or it's best to say which direction you're headed to or where's your home early on in your paragraph. So adding a sentence or two just to describe that will be good, okay? Um, that's it. Any questions regarding the feedback, David?
No.
All right. Zhao Ya, let's take a look at yours. You said my bedroom has a twin-sized soft bed in the corner that I lay on when I'm reading a book. Awesome. To the right is a pink and white shelf where I keep all my books we can add an adjective here. All my favorite books and toys. To the right of that is a ginormous Lego pile with gleaming edges that I use to make life-size creations. Awesome. I can sometimes also hear the sound of stairs creaking as my parents, we need an apostrophe here, us here. Parents head upstairs to check on me and my sister. Awesome. So this is a great description, Xiaoya. Now, what is missing is emotional description on why your bedroom feels like home. Why does it give you positive energy or emotions? Now I know, and so you could mention that in the beginning, saying, my bedroom is my favorite place to be, and my space to call home. It has and then that's where you can go into the description and say these things make me happy, and etc. So those are the things that you need to include when describing your home, because we're not just describing home physically, we're talking about why you feel happy, positive um in the space that you feel. So that's something to keep in mind. Any questions regarding the feedback that I just gave you right now?
I don't think so.
All right, let's take a look at Ethan. So Ethan, you said, even though I have a small house, we need a apostrophe. I love my comma. My house makes me feel safe, comfortable, and cozy. Awesome. My house has so many things. So when it comes to so many, right, think of a different way to say that. So I would say, find synonyms of so many. This is an example of what we can do to help make our writing a little bit more advanced. So when we, instead of saying so many, what we could say is various. Various is a cool word to use when it comes to having the same meaning as so many. So various things that make me feel welcome and pleasant. When I finish school and come back home, it is one of my favorite feelings. All right, so here, Ethan, again, we want to dive in a little bit more deep in detail. Add more detail of some of the things in your home that makes you feel good. Like, is it maybe coming back home and going into your fridge and having some food, or is it because you see your bed or the TV where you can watch TV? So those are the things that you should talk about a little bit more, just to give your readers more understanding of what about your house makes you feel welcome and pleasant. Okay, any questions?
No.
All right, Alexander, let's take a look at yours. You said, my home is awesome because it's cozy and warm. Awesome. As soon as I walk in, I smell the fresh tea brewing in the kitchen. The walls are filled with pictures that bring back good memories, each one telling a happy story. Awesome. I love sinking into the comfy couch. It really helps me relax after a long day. Awesome. Outside, I can hear neighbors laughing and leaves rustling, which makes it feel even more alive. I would say, instead of it, either you can say me or my home. And instead of alive, although alive is a great word, maybe like wondrous, exciting, although exciting is a bit of a boring word. I think wondrous would be cool to use. Um, although alive is a great word, I think uh it could be easily confused with what you mean by alive. There could be different meanings that people could understand from it. So just to make it a little bit more specific, wondrous, exciting would have more impact than alive. Whether I'm enjoying my favorite home cooked meals or watching the warm sunsets come through the windows, every moment at home feels special. Awesome. Yeah, this is great, Alexander. Not too much edits here. Just a very few word choices that I would recommend you changing. But other than that, this is great. You explained everything wonderfully. Like the five senses are covered, so uh this is great. Any questions regarding the feedback I just gave you right now? Nope. All right then. So James, I think I actually did I oh yeah, you said I feel. So you can say I feel the most positive about my house because I feel safe and comfortable. My house is a dark red color and is a medium size. So here, what we could say instead is my medium sized house is um I would take this out and also take out this part here. So you can say my medium sized house is dark red. I feel comfortable when I'm sleeping on my bed. I feel wonderful under 3 layers of blankets lying on my stiff bed. I feel like we can put these two together. So I feel comfortable when I'm sleeping on my stiff bed covered under 3 layers of blankets. It makes me feel the most safe. So instead of the most safe, we would say safest. So it makes me feel the safest because of how warm I feel under the covers. I would say instead of starting it with it, well, we could rearrange the wording and say the warmth of the covers or you could say the warmth makes me feel the safest. And then take that out. My favorite stuffed animal is also on the bed with me. And then we can combine the sentence with the warmth makes me feel the safest with my favorite stuffed animal next to me. Take this out. His name is Wolfie, and he has been with me ever since I was 2 years old. That's good. Wolfie is worn out now, and it makes me feel happy when he is next to me. Especially on cold nights. Awesome. I feel the most comfortable in my house, but I feel super happy when I'm snug. I would put the word especially happy. Happy. Take out super. When I'm snug and cozy under the many layers of thick blankets. All right. That's all the feedback I have for you, James. Do you have any questions regarding this?
No.
No? All right. Awesome. Great job. And then Lee, you submitted yours. So let's take a look and then we'll move on. Oops, I spelled your name wrong. There we go. So you said, in my opinion, my home is school. My first reason why school is my home is school is interactive and social. So we can take this out and just type in because. So in my opinion, my home is school because school is interactive and social. I love social places because of the different things you can learn from other people. Awesome. In a way, everybody's different. They have different cultures, different beliefs, different dreams and experiences. Cool. My second reason why school is my home is that you can learn things in school. Um, I would say instead of saying this, we could say my second reason is that I learn learn various things in class. You can learn math, science, writing, and much more. Not many, it would be much. My third reason is you can make friends at school. I would take this reason and put it up here. And we wouldn't even need to say my third reason. What we could say here is that with social spaces, I can make many friends. And then you can say compared to my normal home where I only hang out with my family, school is school gives me more time to have fun. And then we can take all this out. Except for this last sentence, sorry. And then you could say, in conclusion, this is why school is my home. All right, that's all the feedback I have for you, Lee. Do you have any questions regarding my feedback?
No.
All right, so I'm going to stop sharing. We're now going to do a reading task. So with the reading tasks, we're going to read a story called Rats. Now, this story is going to have a bunch of multiple choice. So one thing I recommend everyone to do is just pay close attention to what we're reading about. Make sure we understand it. Now, before we read, it's always good to read the multiple choice first so we know what to look out for. So, for example, number 1, it says, in paragraph 1, what do the different rat names mainly show? Rats are the largest type of rodent. There are many opinions about rats. There's little reason to be afraid of rats, or rats can live in a variety of environments. Then we have number 2. What does the end of paragraph 2 mainly emphasize about rats? Their strange diet, their physical abilities, their preference for dry land, their similarity to other mammals. So keep these 2 questions in mind. It says in paragraph 1 and in paragraph 2. So clearly, the first 2 paragraphs you need to pay attention to. In paragraph 3, what is the most likely reason the author states cables are the vines of the city? So some of the answers could be to show why rats enjoy chewing on cables, to show that vines are nutritious for rats, to show that rats like living in the vehicles, or to show why it's hard to find rats. Okay. Now, number 4, what is one of the main purposes of the statistics in paragraph 3? So it seems like paragraph 3 has 2 questions you need to answer. So the statistics to show how many rats live in the city buildings, to show how poorly constructed most cities are, to emphasize the damage rats do to the city's infrastructure, to emphasize the amount of litter people in cities produce. And then that would be it for questions number 3 and 4. For 5 and 6, it says, which of the following additions to paragraph 4 would be most useful to the reader? A picture of a rat, a picture of a trap, a picture of a rat's nest, or a picture of a subway tunnel. So pay attention on what you need to look for in paragraph 4. Paragraph 6 is, you don't need to pay attention too much. And then question number 7, which of the following would be the best subtitle for the excerpt? So the excerpt means title. The diseased carrier toward a cleaner city, life on the train tracks, or succeeding among humans. And then again in paragraph 1 for question 8. So paragraph 1 has 3 questions we need to pay attention to. What does the information between the dashes provide? A transition, a definition, a personal belief, or a familiar comparison? So keep all these questions in mind. Does anyone have any questions about the questions? We're all clear on what everything means? All right, great. So let's get started with the reading. So then, and then we'll do the multiple choice after. So let's see. We're all gonna take turns. I will have Xiaoya, can you please read the first paragraph? It's a bit long, but you'll have to read until fancy, if that's okay.
A rat is a rodent, the most common mammal in the world. Rattus norvegicus Norvegicus is one of from Rats by Robert Sullivan. A rat is a rodent, the most common mammal in the world. Rattus norvegicus is one of the approximately 400 different kinds of rodents, and it is known by the names, each of which describes a trait or perceived trait or sometimes a habitat. The earth rat, the roving rat, the barn rat, the field rat, the migratory rat, the house rat, the sewer rat, the water rat, the wharf rat, the alley rat, the gray rat, the brown rat, and the common rat. The average brown rat is large and stocky. It grows to be approximately 16 inches long from its nose to its tail, the size of a large adult human male foot, and weighs about a pound. Though brown rats have been measured by scientists and exterminators at 20 inches and up to 2 pounds. The brown rat is sometimes confused with the black rat, or Rattus rattus, which is smaller and once inhabited New York City and all the cities of America. But since Rattus norvegicus pushed it out, it is now regulated to a minor role. The two species still survive alongside each other in some southern coastal cities and on the west coast, like places in Los Angeles, for example, where the black rat lives in attics and palm trees. The black rat is a very dark gray, almost black, and the brown rat is gray or brown, with a belly that can be light gray, yellow, or even a pure seeming white. One spring between the between the Brooklyn Bridge, I saw a red-haired brown rat that had been run over by a car. Both pet rats and laboratory rats are Rattus norvegicus, but they are not wild and therefore, I would emphasize, not the subject of this book. Sometimes pet rats are called fancy rats. But if anyone has picked this book to learn about fancy rats, then they should put this book down right away. None of the rats mentioned herein are at all fancy.
Thank you. So let's see. Any volunteers for the second paragraph? Yep, Lee, go ahead.
Rats are nocturnal, and out in the night, the brown rat's eyes are small and black and shiny. When a flashlight shines into them in the dark, the eyes of a rat will light up like the eyes of a deer. Though it forages in darkness, the brown rat has poor eyesight. It makes up for this with, first of all, an excellent sense of smell. They have an excellent sense of taste, detecting the most minute amounts of poison, down to 1 part per million. A brown rat has strong feet. The 2 front paws each equipped with 4 claw-like nails, the rear paws even longer and stronger. It can run and climb with squirrel-like agility. It is an excellent swimmer, surviving in river and bays, in sewer streams and toilet bowls.
Awesome, thank you so much. All right, paragraph 3, any volunteers? All right, then let's see. Ethan, can you please read this paragraph?
The brown rat's teeth are yellow, the front 2 incisors being especially long and sharp like buck teeth. When the brown rats bite, its front 2 teeth spread apart. When it gnaws, a flap of skin plugs the space between its incisors. Behind its incisors. Hence, when the rat gnaws on indigestible materials, concrete or steel, for example, the shavings don't go down the rat's throat and kill it. Its incisors grow at a rate of 5 inches per year. Rats always gnaw, and no one is certain why. There are a few modern rat studies. It is sometimes erroneously stated that the rat gnaws solely to limit the length of its incisors, which would otherwise grow out of its head. But this is not the case. The incisors wear down naturally. In terms of hardness, the brown rat's teeth are stronger than aluminum, copper, lead, and iron. They are comparable to steel. With alligator-like structure of their jaws, rats can exert a biting pressure of up to 7,000 pounds per square inch. Rats, like mice, seem to be attracted to wires, to utility wires, computer wires, wires in vehicles, in addition to gas and water pipes. One rat expert theorizes that wires may be attractive to rats because of their resemblance to vines and stalks of plants. Cables are vines of the city. By one estimate, 26% of all electronic cable breaks and 18% of all phone cable disruption are caused by rats. According to one study, as many as 25% of all fires of unknown origin are rat-caused. Rats chew electric cables, sitting in a nest of tattered rags and newspapers. In the floorboards of an old tenement, a rat gnaws the head of a match. The lightning in the city forest.
Awesome, thank you so much. All right, let's move on to the next paragraph. James, can you please read this paragraph for us?
When it is not gnawing or feeding on trash, the brown rat digs. Anywhere there is dirt in a city, brown rats are likely to be digging in parks, in flower beds, in little dirt-poor backyards. They dig holes to enter buildings and to make nests. Rat nests can be in the floorboards of apartments, in the waste-stuffed corners of subway stations and sewers, or beneath old furniture in basements. Cluttered and unkept alleyways in cities provide ideal rat habitats, especially those alleyways associated with food-serving establishments, writes Robert Corrigan in Rodent Control, a Pest Control Manual. Alley rats can forage safely within the shadows created by the alleyway, as well as quickly retreat to the safety of cover in these narrow channels. Often rats burrow under concrete sidewalk slabs. Entrance to a typical under-the-sidewalk rat's nest is gained through a 2-inch wide hole. Their skeletons collapse and they can squeeze into a hole as small as 3/4 of an inch wide. The average width of their skull, this tunnel then travels about a foot down to where it widens into a nest or a den. The den is lined with soft debris, often shredded plastic garbage or shopping bags, but sometimes even grasses or plants. Some rat nests have been found stuffed with gnawed shavings of the wood-based spring-loaded snap traps that are often used in attempts to kill them. The back of the den then narrows into a long tunnel that opens up on another hole back on the street. This second hole is called a bolt hole. It's an emergency exit. A bolt hole is typically covered lightly with dirt or trash, camouflage. Sometimes there is a network of burrows, which can stretch beneath a few concrete squares on a sidewalk, or a number of backyards, or even an entire city block. When Rattus norvegicus first came to Selkirk, England, in 1776, there were so many burrows that people feared the town might sink. Rats can also nest in basements, sewers, manholes, abandoned pipes of any kind, floorboards, or any hole or depression. Often, Robert Corrigan writes, city rats will live unbeknownst to people right beneath their feet.
Awesome. So, last paragraph, and then we'll move on to the multiple choice. So, who hasn't read? Alexander, can you please read this paragraph for us? If possible. Oh, no problem. Okay, then, Xiaoya, can you please read this paragraph for us?
Rats, sorry. Rats also inhabit subways, as most people in New York City and any city with a subway system are well aware. Every once in a while, there are reports of rats boarding trains, but for the most part, rats stay on the tracks. Subway workers I have talked to refer to rats as track rabbits. People tend to think that the subways are filled with rats, but in fact, rats are not everywhere in the system. They live in subways according to the supply of discarded human food and sewer leaks. Sometimes, rats use the subway purely for nesting purposes. They find ways into the walls of the subway stations leading from the tracks to the restaurants to the stores on the street. The vibrations of subway trains tend to create rat-sized cracks and holes. Many subway rats tend to live near stations that are themselves near fast food restaurants. At the very subway station near Herald Square, for example, people come down from the streets and throw the food that they have not eaten onto the tracks, along with newspapers and soda bottles. And I've noticed thousands of no longer charged AA batteries waiting to leak acid. The rats eat freely from the waste and sit at the side of the little streams of creamy brown sewery water. that flows between the rails. They sip the water the way rats do, either with their front paws or by scooping it up with their incisors.
Awesome. So I know that you guys probably didn't expect such so many facts about rats, but it's a great read in terms of getting to know some terminology that was going to be used. And this will help you try to analyze why the author chose certain ways to bring out information, which is also very helpful. So we're gonna do the multiple choice. So can you take a look at questions number 1 and 2? And I'll give you guys around 2 to 3 minutes to answer both. And then we'll move on to the next questions. Does anyone have any questions? No? All right. If you don't know, still try to make a guess. It's okay. But it's better than no response. Okay. So do your best for the multiple choice, and then we'll take it up all together. So 2 minutes.
I have a question. Can you pull up paragraph 1 and paragraph 2 so we can like kind of skim it? Or
That's no problem. Yeah, absolutely. 1 second. So this is paragraph 1 and 2.
I also need to see the question.
Here, let me type in the questions then. So in paragraph, how about this? Let's do it one question at a time. In paragraph 1, what do different rat names mainly show? That either rats are the largest type of rodent, there are many opinions about rats, there's little reasons to be afraid of rats, or rats can live in a variety of environments. So that's for paragraph 1. So just take a look at paragraph 1 and then try to answer as quickly as you can. All right, I'm gonna go back to question number 2. So for question number 2, what does the end of paragraph 2 mainly emphasize about rats? Their strange diet, their physical abilities, their preference for dry land, or their similarity to other mammals. So I'll go back to the paragraphs. I'll give you a minute to skim it over, and then I'll move on back to the questions.
Can you go back to the questions?
Yes, no problem. All right, so I'll give you a minute to answer, and then we'll move on to 3 and 4. Now I do understand that it is a bit of a lengthy read, but try your best to see what you can do from memory. Now what I can do here, let me stop sharing. Let's make this a little easier for everybody. I'm going to create a document that we can share. The reason why I didn't do this originally is because sometimes with Google Documents, it doesn't necessarily allow for everyone to access it. So if you can't access the doc, unfortunately, you'll just have to let me know, and then I'll have to go back manually. But let's see if this works. Just give me 1 second, and then I'll get this fixed up for everyone. Okay. So I'm gonna send a link on a Google document, and then this will give you access to the reading. Okay, I'm gonna share it in the chat. All right, please raise your hand once you're in, that you have access. Okay, David, you got in. Zaya, you got in. Awesome, James, you got in. Ethan, did you get in?
Yeah, I got in.
Okay, awesome. Lee, did you get in?
I took screenshots of the text.
Oh, okay, no problem. Alexander, did you get in? Okay, so if you're in, great. Then you can take a look at that when answering the multiple choice. All right. So here, yep, Zalia, do you have a question or you're good?
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to get rid
No,
of it.
you're okay. Okay, so this is 1 and 2. Now, please answer 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm gonna give you guys around 5 minutes to answer these multiple choice. One more minute. Okay, so time is up. Let's move on. It's okay if you're not completely finished, but we will be moving on to the next slide. All right, so please answer questions number 7 and 8. I'm going to give you around 2 to 3 minutes to answer these two, and then we'll move on. All right, so time is up. All right, so there is one final question um uh, uh that is involved with this reading. It is a long answer. So as you guys are writing your long answer, we're gonna take up everything together at the end. So the multiple choice and the final question. So the final question I'm gonna put into the chat. Okay. So based on the story, explain why brown rats have been able to thrive in urban areas. So you're going to support your answer with relevant and specific information that you read from the story. So what you're going to do is going to make your point, proof, comment. So your proof should just include either direct quotes from the story or you're going to reword it, okay, into your own words. Preferably, I would rather see you guys reword it. But if you just want to add quotes, that's okay for now as well. But if you reword it, it's a much more rewarding and something that you're eventually going to have to do as you continue with writing in general. So it's always good to get some good early practice right now. But because of time, I do understand if you would rather prefer the quotations. So as you're doing that, write your paragraphs. It should be around 3 to 5 sentences, maybe a little bit more. I would say go for more 5 sentences minimum. And then we'll take it up all together. Okay. So I'm going to share the screen and if you guys need me to go back to any of the slides specifically, let me know. Or if you have any questions, let me know as well. Okay. Does anyone have any question about the final task? No? Okay. So 10 minutes to write your paragraphs and then we'll take it up all together. one more minute. Raise your hand if you would like an extra time. I know I said 10 minutes, but if you need extra time, please let me know. Yeah, Zalia, James, yep, no problem. So I am getting some responses. Yep. Okay. So how about this? I'll give you guys an extra 5 minutes. If you do finish early, that's okay. That's great. Take that extra 5 minutes to review your work, make sure it's your best draft that you'll send within the time remaining. Okay. So 5 more minutes. All right. So you still have time. Don't worry. You still have 2 more minutes. I am gonna get started with the editing for those who submitted. But continue working if you're still not finished. It's no problem at all. You still have the 2 minutes. Okay. So Ethan, you submitted first. So take a look at yours. Okay, so Ethan, one thing I want to tell, actually not only you, but everyone, for everyone, when you're writing something that is technically your opinion, but when you're giving any type of response that you have to show some kind of proof about, it's always better to make it as formal as you can. And that means trying to avoid saying anything with in my opinion. Because remember, you're trying to say your reasoning on why brown rats have been able to thrive in urban areas. Yes, it is your opinion, and yes, it is your thoughts. But because it is something that you're trying to show your readers that this is the reason why, then you want to be formal. You want to avoid any type of sense of like, oh, in my opinion, this, it might be this. It shows a little bit of hesitancy. So let's avoid saying anything with in my opinion. So we can immediately just start with saying brown rats thrive in urban areas of land. Even though brown rats have bad seeing, their eyesight can make up for that. They also have a keen
No,
sense.
not eyesight. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think eyesight. I don't think it's supposed to be eyesight. I think it's supposed to be.
So what is this supposed to be?
Um,
Their smell?
Smell. Yeah, the smell.
Okay. So instead of eyesight, we can say sense of smell and make up for that. Their keen sense of smell.
Yeah.
And then we can take out this sentence since we're gonna repeat ourselves if we keep
Jennifer Shue.
their sense of taste is also insanely sharp. They can detect slight amounts of poison. With the keen sense of smell and taste, I think that so we can say with a keen sense of smell and taste, brown rats can easily thrive in urban areas of land. Awesome. So this is a great start, Ethan. Now, one thing I would recommend is having one sent like I'm sure that the story or the reading that we did says that, but they usually give an example. So give one example from the story. So did a professional say this? Did they do an experiment? Did they give statistics? Give an example from the story. And then so do that for both smell and taste. Just one sentence is all it needs. And then it'll be perfect. Other than that, do you have any questions regarding the feedback I just gave you right now?
Should I like do it?
If you like, but we won't have enough time. But how about this, Ethan? Why don't you redo it and then submit it along with your homework, and then you can get more feedback from that. Would you
Okay.
like that? Yeah. Okay. Zhao Yan, let's take a look at yours. So you said brown rats have been able to. I think we just need to, we can take this out. This is not needed. We can just say brown rats survive in urban areas because of the waste that humans drop. In the paragraph, yep, awesome. And then you give your proof, tells us that humans drop so much waste on the ground every single day. The rats then get attracted to it, and instead of saying pretty soon, we could say soon enough. Soon enough, they will, or they actually no, they can live off of it. Or actually, we don't even need it. They can just say they live off of it. Another reason is the homes that people live in. Um, I would expand this paragraph to say another reason how brown rats thrive in urban areas are, or we can actually say this. Homes in urban areas are another reason on how brown rats thrive in these conditions. And then we just take this out. In the paragraph, we need a comma here. Rats can also nest in basements, sewers, manholes, abandoned pipes of any kind. This tells us that rats usually live in basements because they can nest easily in the tiny spaces and can hide from the people who live there. Awesome. This is great, Zaya. Just a few little mistakes here and there, but exactly what I'm looking for. Now, we needed a conclusion here to help finalize your paragraph. But other than that, you're at a great start. You gave the point, you gave the proof. Now we just and a little bit of the comment. So now we're just looking for a conclusion, and then you got it. Any questions, Zaya?
No.
Okay. James, let's take a look at yours. So James, you said brown rats are a common animal, are common, not are common animals that thrive in urban areas. There are a variety of different types of rats. Brown rats are nocturnal, even though they have poor eyesight. The other 5 sentences are heightened. We need a comma here. And this makes up for the brown rat's blindness, I would say instead. Although they're not, of course, 100% blind, we can say blindness in this case. The brown rat had numerous physical, instead of also had, we're going to say has, because it's not past tense. Has numerous physical abilities like running around, like running as fast as a squirrel. The brown, or have, sorry, have numerous physical abilities like running as fast as a squirrel. The brown rat's teeth are yellow. We don't need that. And are extremely strong. The brown rat's teeth are even stronger than iron and other materials. The brown rat's teeth have we don't need to say the brown rat every single time. We can just say the teeth have an alligator-like structure and can create a biting pressure of up to 7,000 pounds per square inch. Awesome. We don't need that. If these rats are not gnawing or feeding, these rats like to dig. They can dig into buildings to make their nests. If these rats are not gnawing or feeding, and the rat's nest can be almost everywhere. I would take this out and just say the brown rat likes to burrow under concrete, sidewalks, and even sewers. The brown rat's entrances to their homes are small because the brown rat's bones can shrink to enter its home. The brown rat's entrances. I would just say the entrances. We don't need the brown rats. The entrances to their homes are small because the brown rat's bones can shrink to and can shrink. I would just say to shrink and then period. The den is often surrounded with soft debris and other things. The back of the den has an exit tunnel allowing the rat to escape from predators if they come to their homes. Awesome. The exit door is covered with a thin layer of soil to camouflage it. The brown rat has numerous exit strategies to survive in urban areas. Awesome. This is great, James. Especially when it comes to the facts that you give. Now, I would just say, James, just be careful with a lot of the wording. I feel like sometimes you're overwriting when we can just combine certain sentences, make things a little bit more simple. And then just think about the word choice sometimes. Any questions regarding this?
No.
All right. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to explain to you guys the homework. Also, the multiple choice answers will be on the slide, so you can check it out on your own time. So here, I have a list of vocab, reciprocal, repentant, salutation, and surreal. So please write a paragraph using these 4 words. It can be anything of your choosing, fictional story, journal entry, poem. I'll leave that up to you. And then you're going to submit it into the forum once you are finished next week. All right. Any questions regarding the homework? Any questions regarding today's session? No? All right, then. Have a great week, everyone, and great weekend. See you guys next week. Bye.